flamingos. So we just got finished talking about the structure of our bodies, right? We talked about the different things that make up the structure of our bodies, what keeps it sturdy and strong and doing all the things it needs to do for us, right? So we talked about our skeleton, and I have my skeleton, Mr. Skeleton from Lupine Lane over here. He's making a reappearance because he was getting lonely over there. So we brought him in and we said, come on, Mr. Skeleton, come on. And we talked about our muscles, and those keep our body moving. They're a big part of our structure. And our organs, we talked about how those are a part of our body structure. And our skin holds it all in. So something to cover it all and keep it all protected is also important. We also talked about the stuffed animal structure, right? We talked about how this doesn't have a skeleton or organs or muscles, right? But it has cotton inside and some beans. And it also has fabric holding it all in and keeping it all together, right? And thread to sew all the parts together. So now I wanted to read this book called Block City to you guys. And then I want to do some things with some blocks and magnatiles to talk a little bit more about the different parts of structure and what it does for us and what we need to think about when we're making structures. Okay, so let's read this book called Block City. The author is Robert Louis Stevenson, and the illustrator is Daniel Kirk. Let's see who the publisher is. Simon & Schuster Books. Ooh, that's Carly Simon's dad, for all that are Carly Simon aficionados. Yeah, it's his publishing company. So cool, let's read Block City. What are you able to build with your blocks? Castles and palaces, temples and docks. Rain may keep raining, and others go and roam, but I can be happy and building at home. Let the sofa be mountains, the carpet be sea. There I'll establish a city for me. A kirk and a mill and a palace beside, and a harbor as well, where my vessels may ride. Great is the palace with a pillar and a wall, and a sort of a tower on top of it all, and steps coming down in an orderly way. See all these steps. To where my toy vessels lie safe in the bay. This one is sailing, and that one is moored. That means he's tied up. Hark to the song of the sailors on board. And see on the steps of my palace the kings coming and going with presents and things. Look at his structure. He has steps on there, and he has a big, solid, sturdy foundation. Now I have done with it. Down let it go. All in a moment the town is laid low. Block upon block lying scattered and free. What is there left of my town by the sea? Yet, as I saw it, I see it again, the kirk and the palace and the ships and the men. And as long as I live and wherever I may be, I will always remember my town by the sea. So, check this out. Check out this structure that this little guy has made, right? So do you notice that the bottom part of his structure is big, right? The steps are coming out, but the big part, and they're kind of thinner, but the big part of his bottom is very big. So that's the foundation. The foundation is this bottom part here, and that's what is the base of a structure. And you have to make your foundation very strong so it can support all of this on the top, right? So let's take a look real quick. Let's take a look down here. I've brought in some, these are Ella's. And Mr. Carl's too, I think. He thinks anyway. I brought in some blocks here, and I brought in some magnatiles. So I wanted to do a little experiment. Let's see, make sure we can see everything. Wanted to do a little experiment with these blocks. So when you build a structure, you want to make sure, right, that, can we see? We want to make sure that we have a good sturdy foundation for everything that comes on top of it. So I used this really really big, long wooden block on the bottom, right? And then on the top, I can add more blocks, and they can pile up, pile up, pile up, and I can get them very high. So my structure has a very solid foundation, right? It has one big part on the bottom that's very sturdy and strong, and it weighs a good amount to support all of this that I'm doing on the top here. Okay, but what would happen if I didn't have this big strong piece on the bottom? What would happen? Okay, so we have this block tower. Now, I can even move it. That's pretty good. It's pretty strong. Okay, what would happen though if I used one of these smaller rectangles? What if I made that my foundation and I tried to put this big tall block, and then I tried to put one of these? Oh, it's wobbling. Do you see that? And then one of these squares. Oh, it's still wobbling. It's not very sturdy, is it? It doesn't have a very sturdy foundation like this tower does. It's holding up though. So say I wanted to keep putting more and more on it. Whoa, it fell down, right? Because it didn't have a very sturdy foundation like this one over here. So when you're thinking about your structure, whatever it is you're going to make a structure for, you want to think about what is going to make it sturdy and what is going to make it hold together, right? Very well. You want to think about how can I make my structure strong? Same thing with magnatiles, right? When we build with magnatiles, you have to make sure that your structure has all of the parts, right? So when we build with the magnatiles, do you guys notice I don't have anything inside holding these up? The magnets are helping it to hold up, but when you put a layer in the center like that, and then you build around it, the more I put to reinforce it, see, I put one here, one here. Let's get, oh, and see, I don't have a very strong foundation. It's starting to buckle a little bit in the middle. But my structure, right here anyway, on this second level, is a little sturdier because it has all of these center parts reinforcing it. So it's a strong, sturdy structure because it has a lot of support in the middle. And so when you're building something, you have to think, what am I making it for, and how long does it need to last? What is it going to be up against, right? And so how strong do I have to make it? And you want to think about the foundation of it being really sturdy and strong, okay? We're going to look at the structure of our house. We're going to go into our attic. Hey, and I'll encourage you guys to go on a field trip into your attic and look at the structure of your house, because you can see all the wood beams, and you can see the insulation and all the wires and the pipes and the big air conditioner pipe, like silver pipes. We're going to do that next, okay? And so we'll take a little mini field trip to my attic, and then we're going to go over some materials, and we're going to do some writing on the first page of your Invention blueprints, okay? See you soon. My structure wasn't too sturdy, huh?